And she's with a tax expert just half an hour or so before this crucial budget speech. Over to you, Nompu.
Thanks very much, Francis. Yes, well, indeed, as you say, the minister has to find ways of raising revenue, and he'll also obviously need to talk about cutting expenditure as well. And I have here with me Zohra De Villiers. She's a tax director at KPMG, to talk further about what she thinks about the tax aspects of things. Thanks very much for joining us, Zohra.
Thank you for having me.
Do you think Minister Gordhan will be able, given what you know and given the fact that the ratings agencies are looking at us very closely, do you think he'll have the ability to enable us to avert being downgraded to junk status?
As you say, Nompu, depends on what he says today. We need to reduce our budget deficit, and how we can do that is by raising taxes and curtailing the expenditure, government expenditure. So all eyes are really on the minister today to determine whether we will avert that.
So what tax target areas do you think he'll be looking at?
Yeah, that's a good question. What will he pull out of the hat today? My view is that we will look at various taxes. I think since last year and the run up to this budget, the population is very aware of where we are and how critical this budget is. And people are aware that it's inevitable, it's a given, our taxes will go up. In my view, he will look at personal income tax. That is the biggest part of the tax revenue, making up just under 36% in the 2015 tax year. 1 or 2% in that area. He may even look at those that earn substantially higher salaries to tax them a little bit higher. But everybody has to come to the party. We have to all work together, because we want to see our country survive. We want to see a good economy. We want to see unemployment reducing. The credit ratings agency giving us a good rating and not downgrading us. All of those things, everybody is looking at him today.
There are many who say, or who argue, that by raising taxes, he's actually disincentivizing the economy from growing, and what we need most in the country is growth. What do you say to that?
Yeah, that is true. There is a point at which people become disincentivized to actually pay taxes. We don't know where that point is. But when it gets to that point, people would rather not pay tax, and that's not the ideal. We all have to work together to get us to a better place.
Now, one of the things that we know is the public has been very concerned about the wastage that we've been hearing about. Last year, we heard from the Auditor General saying that some 26 billion rand had been, lost in the ether somewhere. It couldn't be accounted for, wasteful expenditure, etc., etc. What do you think the minister will need to say in that regard to convince us that more is going to be done, not to waste money?
Very good point. If you ask people to pay additional taxes, there must be some confirmation and some promise that the expenditure will be curtailed, that it will be looked at, and there will not be wasteful expenditure. So he would need to come up with a plan to tell everybody how that will happen and what will happen in that regard.
Now, we know that industry is suffering, the steel sector, manufacturing, and so on. But not that long ago, the Treasury did indicate that it would be looking to raise some sort of carbon tax. Do you think they'll dare to go there this year?
There has been some discussions around that, and there is a plan to bring it in next year. I don't think that we are ready. Any taxes that you raise, the collections of that, or the way that it's collected, must be easy. There mustn't be a cost attached to that. And I don't think we are there in terms of carbon taxes. In addition, it will only contribute, 2 or 3 months to next year. So my view on that is that we are not ready for that yet.
Okay, thank you so much, Zohra, for your time. More questions, but not enough time. That was Zohra De Villiers. She's from KPMG. We'll have more interviews for you later in the bulletin. Francis, it's back to you.
Thank you, Nompu. So the predictions have been coming in from economists. What about ordinary South Africans?